Is there a secret, invisible way to explore and even penetrate her mind without her ever realizing it? I can say with confidence, yes. I call this method the 7 Queens, but this method requires something specific. The knowledge of 7 subtle psychological techniques that can make any woman see you in a completely different light. We're not talking about common tricks, and this is definitely not cheap manipulation. These are advanced techniques grounded in psychology and neuroscience, a rare kind of knowledge that only a select few truly master. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself insecure, shy, or if you look in the mirror and see every flaw and self-doubt staring back at you. The question is, do you want to leave a lasting impression on her mind? Do you want to become a magnetic presence without having to put in endless effort? If the answer is yes, then keep watching. If not, you can leave things exactly as they are. Each of these techniques has been designed to break through those invisible barriers and create an authentic and profound attraction. This is your chance to change the game and become the person she can't stop thinking about, even if she doesn't quite know why. Queen 1. The subtle ghost effect. Imagine if someone thought about you constantly, even when you weren't around. It's like leaving such a deep impression that, even in your absence, your presence is still felt. That's the power of the subtle ghost effect, the first psychological technique you're going to master today. Instead of trying to grab her attention at all costs, the goal here is to create a sense of absence that actually transforms into a powerful presence. The key is to be subtle but intentional. Here's how it works. First, choose a few specific details and make them your personal trademark. Imagine leaving a unique keychain or a special note on her desk. It might seem trivial, but every time she looks at that object, it becomes a subtle reminder of you, a quiet mark of your presence. And it doesn't stop there. An even more powerful touch is a unique fragrance. Whenever you're together, that scent fills the space, and when you leave, it lingers, almost as if your presence remains even after you're gone. Later, if she catches that same scent somewhere else, she'll automatically be reminded of you. Another technique is to leave small objects or notes within her reach. A simple keychain or a note casually left in a corner is enough to make her feel your presence in the room, even when you're not there. Each time she notices that object, a memory of you surfaces, building a constant connection. And here's one more powerful tip. At the end of a conversation, instead of saying something typical, leave a line hanging in the air, an open-ended mystery. Try something like, I still have a story to tell you, but I'll save it for next time. This subtle detail creates a sense of anticipation that keeps her thinking about you and what's coming next. It's like leaving a door slightly open, inviting her to wonder what's behind it. The subtle ghost effect does exactly that. It creates an empty space where she feels your absence almost as if it were a presence. And it's precisely this feeling that makes her think about you over and over, forming a connection that's almost imperceptible, yet irresistible. Queen 2. The emotional mirror. Imagine being able to create a deep connection with someone without having to say much at all. It's like having a secret rhythm, an understanding that goes beyond words. This next technique, called the emotional mirror, is about creating that unique connection in an almost imperceptible way, so she feels that you truly understand her on a profound level. The principle behind the emotional mirror is simple yet powerful. Mirror her emotions. Imagine she's telling you about a tough day. Instead of just listening, you respond with the empathy she needs at that moment, leaning forward slightly and showing an expression of genuine understanding. Or, if she's excited about something, you match her enthusiasm, as if you're experiencing that same excitement with her. It's not about copying, but about tuning your behavior to hers, creating a natural and mutual rhythm. This technique makes her feel that you're able to understand what she's feeling, even if she doesn't openly express it. Psychologically, this builds a bond of trust and intimacy. She'll feel, even if subconsciously, that you're in sync with her emotionally. This kind of connection is rare, and that's exactly what makes it so captivating. To amplify this effect, maintain this emotional harmony at key moments. If she shares something vulnerable or important, mirror her tone with empathy and attentiveness. But remember, the key is subtlety. Don't overdo it or turn it into an obvious imitation. The beauty of the emotional mirror lies in making her feel as if you're in an emotional dance where neither one leads completely. It's a mutual understanding. Over time, she'll start noticing this synchronicity and feel more comfortable and connected. This technique creates a sense of security and a unique intimacy, almost as if you're soulmates, and this connection, even though invisible, is powerful and can leave her completely captivated. Queen 3. The seed of controlled insecurity. Human desire is a curious thing. Often, what's just slightly out of reach draws us in even more. This next technique, the seed of controlled insecurity, subtly taps into this principle in an almost imperceptible way. The idea here is simple. Plant a small dose of insecurity so she feels the urge to seek your attention and approval. Here's how it works. Throughout a conversation, drop in phrases that make her question things a little, without creating negative tension. It's like planting a thought that keeps her wondering. Instead of constant compliments or immediate validation, create moments where she's not entirely sure what you think of her. For example, during a casual conversation, you could say something like, "I really admire people who can think outside the box. People who challenge the norm really catch my attention." Imagine this, you're in a casual conversation and you mention, almost in passing, "I have a lot of respect for people who dare to be different and challenge the ordinary. That kind of person really stands out to me." This comment, said casually and not directly aimed at her, plants a slight doubt, a tiny question in her mind. She might start wondering, does he see me that way? And this subtle thought prompts her to want to show these qualities when she's with you. By doing this, you're planting a seed that naturally, almost imperceptibly, makes her seek your validation. This technique is powerful because, psychologically, people are drawn to what they're not completely sure they possess. She'll feel a certain mystery around how you see her, and that will make her invest more emotionally to secure your attention. It's like planting a small seed that, over time, grows, prompting her to work harder to stand out in your life. The seed of controlled insecurity should be used carefully. It's not about manipulation or diminishing her, but about creating an atmosphere where she feels the desire to engage and be validated by you. This dynamic can deepen attraction, as she feels challenged in a healthy way, motivated to get closer and uncover more. Queen 4. The false error trap. Sometimes, the best way to catch someone's attention is to let them feel like they're in control. The false error trap technique does exactly that. Here, the goal is to draw the other person into the conversation, sparking her curiosity and encouraging her to engage with you in a way that's almost imperceptible. Here's how it works. During a conversation, make a small mistake on purpose. Something subtle, like a slightly incorrect detail she'll feel inclined to correct. Not only does this get her to pay closer attention to you, but it also puts her in a position of engagement where she feels the need to interact. It's a simple trick, but highly effective. For instance, imagine you're talking about movies and you casually mention something like, "The other day I watched that classic film, Back to the Origin." With a slight smile, you pause as she leans in to correct you. "Oh, you mean Back to the Future?" This intentional mistake triggers her impulse to correct you, adding a playful element to the conversation. At that moment, she finds herself more engaged, actively participating as if she's helping you. This creates a light, positive connection between the two of you. Psychologically, correcting someone can give a sense of confidence and relevance. It's like she's lending you a hand, which builds a subtle bond between you. Plus, as she corrects you, she starts feeling more comfortable opening up and sharing details. This sense of power helps her lower her guard, allowing for a more spontaneous, close connection. But remember, the false error should be minor and subtle. It's not about coming across as uninformed or confused, but rather giving her the chance to steer the conversation, so she feels like an active participant. Over time, this interaction creates a sense of closeness and forms a positive, light-hearted memory, making her associate talking with you as something enjoyable and engaging. Queen 5. The Reflective Silence Challenge. There's a saying that silence speaks louder than words. With the Reflective Silence Challenge, the idea is to harness the power of silence to create a space for introspection and depth in your relationship. Rather than ignoring or withdrawing, you're creating a pause in the conversation that gives her the chance to reflect and open up more, feeling comfortable enough to share. Imagine this. During an important conversation, instead of rushing to respond, you allow a moment of silence after she shares something meaningful. Let her fill that quiet space. Often, when someone senses a thoughtful pause, they feel naturally inclined to continue speaking to fill it. This silence has an interesting effect. First, it shows that you're truly listening. In a world where people are always quick to talk, silence offers a rare and powerful presence. She feels that she's being heard and has the room to express what she's thinking and feeling. This perception makes her feel valued and understood, something that few people have the skill to provide. Another powerful aspect of reflective silence is that it creates a subtle psychological tension, suspended moment that heightens curiosity and deepens the interaction. When you do this, she senses a profound connection forming, as if you're communicating on a level beyond words, something more meaningful than the usual exchange. Remember, this technique should be used in key moments when the conversation is meaningful or emotionally charged. And like the other techniques, the secret lies in subtlety. This silence isn't absence. It's an intentional pause that shows attentiveness and builds a bond of trust and closeness. She'll feel she can open up, and this feeling naturally draws her closer to you. Queen 6. The hidden positive memory trigger. There are certain experiences and memories that, without us even realizing it, leave a lasting impression. This is the power of the hidden positive memory trigger. This technique involves creating moments that stay with her, associated with pleasant feelings and a unique emotional connection. So even when you're not around, her mind brings her back to those memories with a smile. Here's how it works. You choose a specific detail, a signature that's unique to your interactions. It could be a scent you wear frequently, a characteristic gesture, or even a special phrase you share. The key is to subtly repeat this detail during your time together, without making it obvious. Imagine you wear a particular cologne every time you're together. That scent will become part of her memory of you. Then one day, she catches that same fragrance somewhere else, and instantly, she's transported back to the pleasant moments you shared. Or, picture that you always make her laugh with a specific comment or a funny nickname. Every time she remembers or hears something similar, that positive memory brings back thoughts of the two of you, and she finds herself thinking about you without even realizing it. This trigger could be a gesture, like a small laugh or a light touch on her shoulder when sharing a funny story. Each time you do this, her mind links that gesture to a positive moment, creating an unconscious emotional bond. So, even when you're not around, these little details turn into lasting, enjoyable memories. Hidden positive memory trigger is subtle but powerful because it creates a sense of presence through unique moments. She recalls you in everyday situations, increasing your mental presence. This kind of memory makes her feel that there's something special between you, something that goes beyond what words can describe. Queen 7. The mystery of the enigmatic gaze. Have you ever felt that a simple look can say more than any words? The mystery of the enigmatic gaze is the final psychological technique, and perhaps one of the most powerful. This technique involves using eye contact to create a silent, deep bond, leaving an impression that lingers long after the conversation has ended. Here, the secret isn't just about looking into her eyes, but about doing it in a strategic and captivating way. During a conversation, choose a meaningful moment and hold eye contact for just a second longer than usual. That extra instant creates a subtle tension, a mystery that sparks curiosity and makes her wonder, what is he thinking? This hidden secret behind your gaze creates a sense of depth and intrigue. To amplify the effect, after that extra second, gently shift your gaze away, as if you've just shared a silent, personal secret. Imagine being in a conversation where, after an intense exchange of looks, you look to the side with a slight, enigmatic smile. This gesture seems to say more than words ever could, leaving her with a sense of mystery and curiosity. She'll want to know what's on your mind, and gradually, she'll feel more drawn to unravel that mystery. Eye contact is one of the oldest and most effective forms of human connection, as it triggers an almost immediate emotional response. By using the mystery of the enigmatic gaze, you create a silent bond, something felt more in the heart than in the mind. This mystery awakens in her a desire to learn more, to understand what's hidden behind your gaze. Over time, this subtle, nearly imperceptible technique leaves a deep impression. She starts associating these intense moments of eye contact with a sense of fascination and attraction. And the best part is, this technique is so discreet that she'll never realize you're using it intentionally. And there you have it. You now know the 7 subtle psychological triggers to get inside any woman's mind and leave her captivated. Each of these techniques is designed to create an almost invisible yet deeply impactful connection. When used with subtlety and respect, these techniques become a natural part of who you are, creating an unforgettable presence without ever seeming forced or artificial. But remember, the true power of any relationship lies in authenticity and respect. Using these techniques isn't about manipulating emotions or controlling someone. It's about building a genuine connection. When used with the intention of forming real bonds, they become tools to strengthen relationships and build mutual trust. Now that you know these techniques, here's my challenge to you. Which one do you think would be the most effective in creating an unforgettable connection? And which one can you see yourself using in an ethical, respectful way? Comment below to share your thoughts. And let's see who's really ready to harness the power of psychology. If you want to continue this journey of self-discovery and learn more about the power of the mind and relationships, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're just beginning to unlock the secrets of psychology and how they can transform your connections and your life.